In every Zelda game, Link has to travel far and wide in search of people and things that can help him fight the biggest threats of Hyrule and other kingdoms. However, after beating all those mighty final bosses who were on the brink of winning, we at least have to find out which ones are the absolute best, right? Well, in my opinion, yes. So today we are going to take a look at all the 3D final bosses so we can rank them all and find out which one was the most fun. Now let's get into it right away. Now there are a total of 6 in all the 3D games, and the one that ends up on the bottom is Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time. Alright, hold on. I know all of you love this game and blah blah blah, but you gotta keep in mind that this game was the first 3D Zelda game and is 21 years old by now. And of course, bosses in the series got better and better. Technology evolved after all, and the developers got more skilled. So don't worry, Ocarina of Time is still a legend, but it's just a bit outdated nowadays. Now when it comes to the first ever 3D boss, they came up with a 2-cycle fight. It starts off with the King of Evil flying around the room who makes a part of the floor collapse and then fires some sort of magic balls at you, and Link with the aid of the Master Sword is able to hit them back, and of course Ganondorf smacks them back at you again, and so it basically turns into a game of tennis. After doing this for a while, Link wins by using his mighty light arrows and the Master Sword. Using the last of his power, Ganondorf tries to make his castle collapse to win, but the heroes manage to escape. However, after that, an exhausted Ganondorf using the triforce of power transforms into a beast called Ganon. Here he gets 2 gigantic swords and you have to fight him with and without the Master Sword while dodging his attacks. In the end, Link manages to defeat him using the Master Sword and the aid of the 7 sages. Now in general, it's not a terrible fight. However, compared to all the other battles, the shiny ball tennis and tail-whacking tomfoolery is just not that fun. The first phase just comes down to you hitting the magic ball back, shooting him with the bow, and then some sword slashes. While the second round is just running underneath him, and if it's too hard, just stun him with the light arrow. So really, it's very simplistic, which is fine, but that does mean that every other final boss in the series has more going for themselves. Now the next one on the list that ends up higher on number 5 is actually the most recent fight we had with the King of Evil. The battle with Calamity Ganon seen in Breath of the Wild, because while it is new, the experience is certainly disappointing. When Link gets there to take him on, he awakens Ganon, confronting it in an incomplete form resembling a mix of Ganondorf, Malice, and Guardian parts. And the entire fight is basically a mixture of all attacks used by the Blights which we took on in the Divine Beasts. After this he is defeated, and his demonic spirit escapes and manifests into the incarnation of malice and hatred. It takes the form of a gigantic boar similar to one of Ganondorf's forms in Twilight Princess, but consumed by malice. This is a big switch because all of a sudden we go from a simple one-on-one to a horse riding section where you need to use the Bow of Light to hit his weak spots. After this, Zelda will be able to seal him away and the kingdom is saved. Now this fight is also quite underwhelming, especially for a game made in 2017, which ended up taking around 5 years to make. While the first phase is not that bad and way better than either the first or second part of the Ocarina of Time battle, the second phase is straight up garbage. In the beginning you at least have a cool one-on-one with him where you need to do good dodges and parry perfectly, and you can't even completely cheese it by using explosive arrows. It can actually be a fun fight and even a bit difficult with all the different tactics and types of attacks he has. But that second phase is just the worst thing ever, and the main reason why it ends up near the bottom of the list. All you do is ride around, shoot a bit, and that's it. The whole thing is so anticlimactic, it's a huge waste of potential. Now let's go up the ladder again, this time number 4. And the one who ends up here is Majora's Mask. Here it comes to life and grows hair-like tentacles in the first phase, and to defeat it, Link must first stun it with any projectile and then attack it with his sword. Meanwhile, Majora and the other boss masks there will fire energy balls at you and do all kinds of physical attacks. After this, it goes into the second phase. It loses its tentacles and grows a set of arms and legs, as well as a tiny one-eyed head with horns. It will run around the room very fast, pausing every now and then to perform a variety of dances or taunting gestures. Its only attack is a rapid-fire barrage of energy bolts that it fires from its hands, and Link just has to attack it. Then we get to its final form. The being's muscles then begin to throb and inflate into a more humanoid shape, whip-like tentacles also shoot from its hands, and it gets a new head. Link must use a projectile weapon to stun it while it is immobile, and then strike it with a light arrow or a sword. It often jumps from one side of the arena to the other, and its attacks are fast-hitting but will take a while to prepare. He attacks by whipping its tentacles 3 times, and throwing giant spinning tops aligned with spikes, grabbing Link and tossing him across the room, and using a furious whipping attack, making this form the most dangerous out of all of them. Now personally, I think this fight works quite well. The first and last phase are the hardest to deal with, but all of them add to the overall character of the villain. Majora is already quite strange and cocky, so the fact that he just messes around mid-fight only enhances this feeling. Still, his phases have a lot of interesting attacks that work well with each other, especially the last phase has some amazing moves and can be quite difficult. The fact that he is fast and can jump far while also having weapons with long range counters Link's attacks quite well. And even the first round is a lot of fun and requires you to pay attention, since 4 normal boss masks and Majora are all attacking you at once. So overall, it works really well for the year 2019, especially for a boss fight from the year 2000. Now on to our number 3. This one is really odd, but it works surprisingly well. I'm talking about Ganondorf from the Wind Waker. Here the fight starts with a battle against Puppet Ganon, who damages Link by spinning his tail, flailing his arms and releasing keys. All Link has to do is cut the cords with the boomerang, and after they're all cut, he hangs suspended on the central red cord, and Link must shoot a light arrow at the blue ball at the end of its tail to damage him. After this, he transforms into a large spider who flies up to the top of the room, spinning rapidly before crashing down above Link's last position. Link must use the reflecting pull in the room to see where it will fall, and once again you shoot a light arrow at the blue ball on Puppet Ganon's body to damage him. Then he transforms into something similar to Moldorm, moving erratically around the room, gaining speed each time Link strikes the blue ball at the end of his tail. After he is defeated, it all changes because Link will go to the top of the tower to face Ganondorf for the final time. This section is basically a sword fight with the King of Evil, while Zelda helps you by shooting him with a bow. Now in general, you get an insane amount of different types of tactics and moves to deal with, and almost all of them require you to shoot your bow perfectly, be fast, and keep a good eye on the puppet. And then we get to the final fight, where you have an amazing one-on-one sword fight with Ganondorf himself that even ends in an amazing way by stabbing him in the forehead. Overall, it's an impressive boss fight. You use a wide range of items, it can be hard to hit him, there's no way to cheese it, and at the end, we even get an amazing showdown with a great setting. Even all the other puppets challenge you in different ways, and especially test your skills with the bow, which is great because together with the sword fight, those two things are the best combat mechanics. Clearly, Nintendo improved a lot 4 years after the release of the first ever 3D Zelda game. Also, little side note, we have loads of other videos like this on the channel, like top 10s and even specific videos that you might like. For example, our Zant vs Ghirahim video. So click in the upper right corner to check them out, and don't forget to subscribe, you amazing human. Now on to our next one. The final fight from Skyward Sword, where we get an absolutely amazing battle in multiple ways. Here you teleport to a weird little world, which makes for an amazing arena for the final showdown. This fight basically comes down to a one-on-one with the King of Evil's strongest form ever seen in the series. The idea of this battle is so incredibly cool, and also works quite well, even though motion controls can be a bit annoying to work with. But still, this is most likely the best sword fight we have ever had in the series, with an impressive ending even. However, it is very short. Too short in my opinion. But still, it's action-packed and great the whole way through, making use of all the sword fighting mechanics in a good way. So personally, I like it. I'm a big fan of stuff like this because it actually makes me feel like a sword fighting badass. And now we get to the final one, which is in my opinion the best battle with Ganondorf ever seen. The fight from Twilight Princess. This is an epic showdown in the castle throne room in Hyrule Fields, with so many different phases that make use of all the best mechanics of this game. The first phase is a battle with a possessed Zelda, which is an amazing idea because it gives us an excuse to fight with Zelda. Now this round is similar to the first phase of the Ganondorf fight from Ocarina of Time, but way better. Because this time he will use different attacks as well, like projecting a triforce on the ground that could damage you, and diving down fast with the sword. There's so much more to it, making this phase a lot better and less boring already. After this, we get something more odd, I would say, because you get to fight Ganondorf in his boar form while you are also a beast. This is like an epic primal showdown between two mighty beings, charging, biting and scratching each other. Now this fight basically comes down to the beast running around, wrecking the place, and teleporting around while charging at you every now and then. So all you need to do is keep an eye on the beast and take it head on when it comes charging for you, which is pretty cool in my opinion. After this, we think that Midna finished him off, but all of a sudden Ganondorf appears on Hyrule Field where we ended up as well. And this time we fight him on horseback. Yet again, an amazing section now that this game improved the horse combat so much. Being able to shoot him with the bow and actually attack with your sword as well, all while trying to avoid Ghost Riders and any of his attacks. And the one thing you need to do is ride like the wind, align shots for Zelda with her bow, and then attack him using the sword. It's an incredibly fun section which yet again uses a great mechanic of the game. And then we get to the best part, an epic one-on-one sword fight with Ganondorf himself, which even includes sword clashes where it becomes a power struggle. It's a really cool battle that even forces you to use the hidden sword skills you learn throughout the game in order to get past his defenses and even finish him off. I absolutely love everything about this boss battle because it keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time and never gets boring thanks to all the different mechanics. But there are also other villains with the exact same effect, Zent and Girahim when they are fighting each other in a one-on-one battle. However, who would win that? Well, in order to figure out, click in the upper right corner by checking out that video and even an entire playlist with way more. But when it comes to this battle, Ganondorf from Twilight Princess is the absolute winner. It combines all the elements I love from Twilight Princess into an action-packed boss fight, which works extremely well. And I truly hope we will see more one-on-one sword fights with Ganondorf in the future. Thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed. Be sure to check those videos in the upper right corner in the playlist there and also the ones on the screen right now. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell button so you won't miss any content and stuff. And like this video and leave a comment on what you think. Yay!